Hello everyone, Miss Meek here, and today we are going to talk about a measure of central tendency called the mean. The mean, also known as the average. So those are the two, they're actually the same thing. So if you ever hear anyone talking about getting the average of something, they're talking about the mean. Now, to find the mean, there's two simple steps. Step one is you're going to be given a list of numbers, otherwise known as data. And so you're going to take your data and you are going to add all the data numbers. So in this example here, I'm going to add that 2 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7 plus 8 plus 10. So I'm going to go ahead and do that over here to the side. You can do this one of two ways. You can group the numbers together and add them two at a time like this, and then add these numbers up. That's one way to do it. Or again, you could just make yourself a little list over here and start adding these numbers together one by one. That's another strategy that would work as well. Either way I do this, I'm going to get 35. So this whole group of numbers here is going to be 35. So that is my first step. I added all the numbers up. When I did that, it equaled 35. The second step then is to divide. And we're not going to divide by just anything. This number that we divide by actually is going to depend on how many numbers are in your data set. So for this problem, I'm going to divide by 6 because there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers in my data set. So I am going to divide. Step 2 is divide by how many numbers are in your data set. And for this one, that number is 6. So the last problem I have to solve is my 35, and we are going to divide it by 6. So I'm going to work that out over here to the side because I don't know what that is off the top of my head. Now, when you find the average, when you find the mean, you will sometimes get a decimal, and that's totally fine. So that goes in 5 times 0. 6 goes into 50. Oh, don't forget my decimal there. 8 times, that is 48. That's a 2. 6 goes into 20. 2, 3 times. And this is actually going to end up repeating because I'm going to get an 18 here, which is going to subtract and give me a 2, and then I'm going to have another 20. And so this is actually going to be a repeating decimal here. This is going to be a repeating decimal here, and that's totally fine. Again, we know how to handle repeating decimals. We know how to handle decimals and all of that here in 6th grade. So my final average is going to be 5 and 83 hundredths repeating. So that is my average. Now, what's really cool about the mean or average is that it kind of gives you an idea of the center of your numbers. So where are your numbers hanging around? Where are they all kind of gravitating to? The mean is going to be in the middle of your numbers for the most part. It's not going to be super higher than all the numbers in your data set, and it's not going to be super lower than all the numbers in your data set. It's going to be somewhere around the middle. So all your data should be kind of, like I said, centered around this number. Let's do a couple more examples here on number 1. Again, the first step is to add these numbers together. So I'm going to add these numbers together. That's going to be 12, carry my 1. That's 8 plus 28. That's 0, carry my 1. 11 plus 37, 7, 4, 1. Plus 49 is 6, carry my 1, 9, 1. All right, step number 2 is to take that sum that we just found and divide it by how many numbers there are. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers. So we are going to take this number and we are going to divide it by 5, and that is going to give us our mean. So over here, I'm going to work that out. Let's see, 5 goes into 19 3 times. I subtract. 5 goes into 46 9 times. That's 45. I subtract. Add a decimal point, bring it up to your answer line and add a 0. That 0 comes on down so I can keep on dividing. 5 goes into 10 2 times. I subtract, and so I get my final answer. The mean is 39 2/10. And again, that means to be somewhere near the middle of my data, and that makes sense. My data goes from 26 to 56. So that number, that mean, is somewhere around the middle of that data set. Let's take a look at one more example here. So again, step 1, add these numbers together. That's 27. Plus 16 is going to be 43. Plus 19 is going to be 62. Plus 3 is 65. Plus 5 is 70. Gotta start a new list over here. 70 plus 17 is 87. And then plus 9 more, that's going to give me 96. So my grand total here is 96. I'm going to divide that number by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ooh, there's a lot of them in this one. 8 numbers in my data set. So I'm dividing by how many numbers there are, which is 8. So my last problem that I have to solve here is 96 divided by 8. 8 goes into 9 one time, I subtract. 8 goes into 16 2 times, I subtract. And on this one, I get a nice pretty whole number, 12. So again, this should be somewhere kind of near the middle of my data. My data goes from 3 all the way to 19. And so 12 is kind of a central number in the middle of all of that. All right, so this is one type of measure of central tendency. We're going to learn about more as we get through the chapter here on data measurement and statistics and graphing and all of that. I hope this helped clear up any confusion you had on mean. I'll talk to you later. Bye.